I'm liking the casual look today, Piers.
Well, you know what? I was going to wear a suit, but apparently your audience, very attractive group of ladies, with a couple of very attractive men.
Oh, such a charmer.
I can't call women attractive anymore. Do any of you object to me calling you attractive? No. Why don't we get real in this country? Women can still be called attractive by a man without it being a hanging offence. It is allowed. You are three very attractive ladies.
Thank you very much.
And Janet.
Piers, you know what? That rant could have come straight from the mouth of Donald Trump.
Your best mate.
Nothing wrong with Donald Trump. He's like me, a massively misunderstood human being.
Yeah. Do you set out in the morning like, right, who can I kind of go for today?
Yes, I love
wake up
people
thinking
up.
I need a
we
big
had a
fight.
guy on yesterday, for example, a head teacher of a big school in Kent, who bans the kids from having snowball fights, but also bans them from touching snow.
I was with you on that
We get
one.
snow about 4 days a year,
Yes,
and he's banning the kids from having a snowball fight.
kids love
What is
it.
wrong with this country?
Kids love it. Piers, what do you think is wrong with this country? Because there's a lot for
We
you to
are
rant
being
about.
enveloped with politically correct nonsense. And that doesn't mean that I don't applaud, equality in all areas, right? Both in gender equality, racial equality, sexual equality, all of it. I'm totally signed up to all of that. I'm not in favour of head teachers banning snowball fights. What kind of kids are we producing if they are not allowed to have a snowball fight? Snowflakes!
Now, we showed there a montage of life stories, and in every single clip, somebody cried.
Is that the criteria for coming on?
Pamela...
I'd break you.
You would not. I don't snivel.
Pamela, this Saturday, 9:50 on ITV, Pamela Anderson. Did she cry?
No, she didn't cry. She's a tough cookie. And actually, not everyone cries.
Do you feel like you failed if they haven't cried?
No. I don't. No, honestly, I don't set out to make people cry. Sometimes just by turning up, people burst into tears. But no, I don't. It's interesting. It's people's lives. So it really depends what's happened in their lives. To me, it would be very unusual if you're talking to a parent about the loss of a child if they didn't show emotion. So it really depends what's happened in their lives. Life Stories is a show where I say to the guests, look, only do it when you're ready to talk about everything. And then to me, if they've had really dark moments in their lives, as well as great triumphs, it would be inhuman if they weren't actually a nice person.
Do you have an interview? Sorry, Ruth. Do you have an interview with them before you actually go live?
No, I prefer not to. I prefer not even to say hello to them. I prefer just to get out there. The lights go down, there's an audience, a big audience, but then very quickly it just becomes me and them. Some of the recordings are 3.5 hours without a break.
So
you also have a lot...
moaning, isn't she, that you took her 3.5 hours and have cut it to a show that focuses on sex and her
Well,
body.
she said this the day after recording. She hasn't seen the recording, obviously. She only saw what happened in the real moment. We filmed for 2 hours and we showed video packages, as we do in all the shows. So she has no idea what the edit looks like. I can tell you, Pamela Anderson comes over brilliantly. She's funny, she's feisty, she's unpredictable. She gives me as good as she gets, rather like Janet. And unlike Janet, she's a global pin-up.
Do you know what, Piers?
You know.
No, I'm joking. You know what? She is the
Janet.
thinking man's crumpet. I'll tell you, she is.
No,
She is.
national treasure.
National treasure, never off the telly. Then on Thursday...
Tomorrow,
this is
9
Serial
o'clock.
Killers. 9 o'clock. I was
Get it
getting
in there.
Give me something left to do, Piers. It's the Serial Killers. Kansas City Strangler. This is Lorenzo Gilliard.
Yeah.
So what did you make of this guy?
It's chilling and fascinating because he's a serial killer who killed at least 12 to 13 women. The police think he killed maybe up to 25. He did it over a 17-year period, snatching women off the streets and strangling them. What is really interesting about his story is that after 17 years of this appalling activity, he stopped. He met a woman, he fell in love, he got married, he started doing very well at work. They both did well at work. They had matching Mercedes, went on flash holidays. When you meet him, he's a very normal-looking, normal-sounding... The way they called him was DNA 10 years later. So by now, he's happily married, living a normal, domesticated life. All his friends and everyone around him thinks he's normal. And the police get money to do DNA cold case testing. They go back and they actually tested all the bodies of all these victims where unsolved murders. They found DNA.
And that linked
And that he'd been interviewed in connection with one of them because he happened to be in the area. He'd done a swab test 20 years before. They checked the swab test. They got a match. Then they matched him to 12 of the dead women. And that's how they got him. And they literally, he was having dinner in a diner in Kansas City, and they banged on the door of the diner, walked in, "You're nicked, mate." And it was, and he's
no
now,
one had a clue. No one, not his
not a
family,
clue. His
not an
wife
inkling.
had not a clue.